offer our gratitude for this opportunity to engage on this troublesome topic with you. This is a topic, the topic of karma, that you use to torment yourself over and over again. It is almost as though you seek to punish yourself by the very ideas you hold about this topic. And so we are pleased that you wish to engage and enlighten on how the law of karma works more precisely. It is, in fact, a beautiful law, and it is a very liberating law when you understand it. It is a law that is fully, totally, and completely at your service. Of course, you may choose to punish yourself in your understanding of karma, but the law of karma enacts itself regardless of this. This law is always absolutely fair, even when it feels to you as though it is not. And we will help you to understand how this is so. Let us begin by reminding you that you are first and foremost a vibrational entity, a vibrational consciousness. This is the core substance of your being. This is the core substance of all of our beings. Consciousness expresses itself through vibration. Vibration translates itself, it manifests itself into various forms. But the forms that you see, the forms that you experience, are mere translations of your vibrational nature, your vibrational essence. You are a vibrational being. And so the laws that govern you are vibrational laws. They are never laws that govern the material, the physical, the experienced, or the perceivable. This is the beginning of your misunderstanding in regards to the law of karma. Many of you understand karma in material terms. I am suffering now, I am in poverty. Therefore, my karma is karma of poverty. I must have stolen money in the past to be deprived of money now. I have lost my love has left me for another. I must have taken another from their love in the past. These are the ways that you translate karma. But this, my beloved ones, this is inaccurate. It is imprecise. Karma does not operate on the material plane. It is fully and totally vibrational in nature. We will open to your questions and continue to provide our insight through your questions.
So no questions have come through just yet. But if I could ask, is karma carried through all lifetimes? How is it accumulated and how is it resolved?
As we have said, your nature is vibrational. You are a vibrational being. Karma is the accounting system for your vibration. It records for you, it keeps account of your vibrational experiences, your vibrational journeys, your vibrational state from one life to the other. It records not the experiences that you have engaged in, your good deeds and your bad deeds. It is not that form of accounting system. Rather, it keeps track of your vibrational state of being in relation to any number of things across any number of lifetimes. This is quite abstract. Allow us to provide a clearer illustration, an example, if you will. Let us say that 3 lifetimes ago, you were a murderer. You murdered one who lived in your village. You then hid your crime. You buried the body and moved to another place. And as you traveled from place to place, you were forced to engage in more and more fabrications to hide your deed. In your next life, you were murdered. This is not a direct correlation to the act you committed in the first life. Rather, it is a vibrational system of supporting you to understand the consequences, the vibrational consequences of committing such an act. How do you understand the vibrational consequences, the consequences for your creativity when you murder somebody, other than to experience that experience yourself? You understand the vibration best if you are murderer and murdered both. In addition to these two perspectives, your karmic accounting system will also bring you into other relationships with this one event. You will play roles as the wife of the one who is murdered, the child of the one who is murdered, the child of the murderer, the husband of the murderer. All of those in the village. You would even take up roles around what caused the murder, because of course you do not go about murdering people for the fun of it. There is always something that stimulates this action. And so you will play every role, every perspective in relation to this one vibrational experience, so that you may fully understand the consequences of each of these perspectives. Karma, in this case, is not about justice in the way that you understand it. It is not a way to ensure that you are punished. It is not a way to ensure that you are rewarded. Karma is not about punishment or reward. Rather, as all else, it is about awareness. It is about the expansion of consciousness. It is about ascension. How do you ascend the tendency to destroy another in order to escape the consequences of a relationship, other than by experiencing that relationship from every perspective? Karma then is a tool to support your expansion, your enlightenment, and your ascension. What it is not is a tool to punish you or to reward you for past deeds.
Thank you. So there's a question that I think part of this would have answered. Grace has asked, are the people we meet in life predetermined as a function of karma?
Yes and no. There is certainly some degree of pre-programming, some degree of pre-designing a lifetime. What is key to understand is that there is no other lord of karma except for yourself. In between your life, in between your embodiments, that which you call a lifetime, in between each embodiment, you spend time as your higher self, as the Atmic self, the higher self, designing your next life, you do so in the context of your karma. You are the holder of your own karmic accounting book. And so you design your next life in the way that best advantages you in ascending any previous karma. So you do indeed choose many of the relationships that you enact in a lifetime, but you are not choosing them based on the material embodiment of the person. In this lifetime, I wish to have this one as my daughter and that one as my father. I wish to marry this person and divorce from that one. No, this is not the way that it operates. We remind you, you are a vibrational being. What you do between lifetimes is program in vibrational relationships. And you then co-create with those who are vibrational matches to you. So it is not that you must be in a relationship in this lifetime because you murdered or married or loved somebody in a previous lifetime. Karma does not operate on these principles. It operates vibrationally, so that if you wish to ascend a particular vibration, let us say that you struggle to receive love. You are struggling to receive love vibrationally. Then in this lifetime, you will draw to you many people who are corresponding to that vibration, who offer you the opportunity to learn how to love yourself. There will be those who try to support you in that lesson in your immediate family. There are those who will teach you through friendships, through employment, through intimate love relationships, through dissonance, through relationships that are antagonistic and rivalry. All of these relationships are drawn to you based on your karmic vibration. You wish to learn how to receive love. And so you select those to journey with you who will help you to ascend that particular vibration. Of course, you are complex beings. You do not draw to you a relationship because of one single lesson. Rather, each of you is a composite of karmic lessons and karmic opportunities that you provide to each other. So yes, you do select those you will spend time with, but it is not the pre-designed embodiment that you are selecting. Rather, it is the vibrational possibility for ascension that you are selecting.
Jane has asked a question, and I've summarized it to say, so how do we become aware of what our karmic learning is?
This is a powerful question, and it is the beginning of mastering your karma. When you are subjected to your karma is in control. You feel that you are disempowered and must endure. When you begin to ask, how do I master my karma? You begin to enact your sovereignty. You begin to reclaim the power that is rightfully yours through your karma. So how then do you begin to master your karma? The first step is to recognize that it is very precisely your karma. It is your vibrational accounting that has come into your life to open up particular opportunities for ascension. Once you have reclaimed your karma as your own, it is important to recognize that you are not punishing yourself or rewarding yourself. The bad things that you experience are not punishment for previous bad behavior. The good things are not rewards for previous good behavior. Rather, they are vibrational opportunities to expand your consciousness, to expand your awareness of yourself. And this is the path to ascension. So once you have reclaimed your karma and recognized that you are not subject to your karma, you can begin a different relationship with your karma. You may begin by observing yourself gently and powerfully. Observe how you feel in any given context. If you are experiencing something that you do not enjoy, somebody that you are having a turbulent relationship with, begin first by observing the self. Your third dimensional tendency is to observe the other. That one is causing me discomfort. That one is treating me unfairly. That one has stolen from me or is disrespecting me. That one doesn't love me. That is a beginning point, but it is not a point that serves you, because that one is simply reflecting back to you an opportunity for your ascension. So you begin to reclaim your mastery by observing the self. What is going on within me when that one is disrespecting me or being hateful to me? What am I feeling within myself? Am I experiencing a deep sense of unworthiness? Am I feeling that I have no power in this context, that they control me? What is it that I am experiencing? What is my physical body experiencing? What are my thoughts doing? What are my emotions doing? How are my emotions reacting? As you become aware of the self, begin to go more deeply. Once you understand what you are experiencing, go a layer deeper. If you are feeling that the other controls you, the question to ask is, how am I surrendering my control to others? We assure you that once you notice a pattern in one relationship, you will begin to observe the same pattern repeated, relationship after relationship, context after context. You are then in a position to understand what you hope to ascend. If there are many in your life who make you feel powerless, if there are many who make you feel unworthy, if there are many who make you feel unloved or taken advantage of, then what you are attempting to ascend, what you are attempting to realign vibrationally, is your sense of worthiness, is being able to feel worthy internally rather than relying on that validation from outside of yourself. Or it is the ability to reclaim and stand in your own power. Or it is the opportunity, the ability to receive love and to enact love that is unconditional. Your karma directs you to what you wish to expand and ascend. Sometimes this is quite painful, and we do not deny the deep discomfort and distress that enacting your karma may bring to you. There are many tragic circumstances, and we do not say that you should joyfully receive these. Certainly experience your pain and experience your discomfort, but recognize that the solution to overcoming them is not in transforming the other, but rather in transforming the self.
That's a good point to end on, because we have an interesting question that I've combined. Can we stop or neutralize karma in this lifetime and start on a clean slate? How do we do that?
A powerful question. You will not appreciate our answer. You, in your conscious state, in your higher state, would not wish to neutralize your karma, because your karma is the generator of your life force. It propels you forward into ever increasingly profound creations and experiences. But perhaps what you are asking more precisely is, do you need to suffer so in the context of your karma? And to this we would answer, no, you do not need to suffer. Karma is designed to serve you, but it is only able to serve you when you are consciously enacting your experience. If you are living your life unconsciously, then your karma serves by forcing you to face that which you would not face otherwise. When you begin to consciously work with karma, it no longer becomes so burdensome. Rather, it becomes a catalyst for you to bring to you those experiences you would rather have in your life. Karma is not equated with suffering. Yes, in your unconscious mode, you do suffer greatly in the context of karma, but this is because you are as yet unconscious. So you do not want to wipe out your karma. Rather, you want to be a conscious master of your karma. Your karma is a tool to help you to navigate through all of creation, across each of your lifetimes and even beyond them. You may neutralize karma that is uncomfortable. Certainly, you may do so, and you should do so. This is the purpose of working with your karma consciously, being able to master it so that it serves you and brings you towards that which you desire, rather than subjecting you to a suffering that you do not desire. How do you neutralize your karma? You neutralize your karma by becoming conscious of your vibrational relationships. As we have said, if you are experiencing a toxic relationship of some sort, you neutralize that karma by becoming aware of your own corresponding role to the one who is making you suffer. You neutralize that karma by becoming accountable for your own vibration, for your own way of relating to the other.
Can you clarify working consciously on your karma as opposed to unconsciously? I think it is quite a challenge when you are trying to operate in a 3D world, ascend and understand that. Can you clarify on that?
When you are working unconsciously with your karma, you feel life happening to you. You feel that you have no control over the circumstances of your life. You feel that you are subject to and under the control of others. You feel that you are unable to direct your own life. This is an unconscious relationship with karma. or with your conscious self. Yes, they are not distinct. When you begin to work consciously, you begin to focus more holistically, more completely on what is reflecting internally. You recognize that, yes, I am being traumatized by this event outside of me, but then you shift your gaze inward so that you might understand the self, what is happening to me internally because of what I am experiencing from outside myself. Where are the patterns in my life? Are there many people who are treating me the same way? Am I unable to build prosperity regardless of which job I do or which function I provide? What are the patterns that I am reflecting outward? Once you have acknowledged your patterns, you may begin to acknowledge, you may begin to perceive or become aware of why you are enacting those patterns. So, for example, if you are finding that you are unable to build prosperity in your life, you may begin to look inwards and you may observe within yourself that this is because you are unwilling to become accountable for your own state of well-being. You are hoping that others will provide for you, that others will meet you in this need and fulfill your need. And if you look further into that, you will discover a fear that there is not enough for you. Once you have discovered this, you may begin to realign that fear. You may begin to practice for yourself the ways in which there is enough in your life, the ways in which the planet provides abundantly in many ways, the ways in which you are experiencing prosperity that is not financial. You may begin to realign internally. And as you do so, you reaccount for your karma. So let us give you another example. If you have stolen money in 50 lifetimes previous to this one, each time at a greater and greater scale, in this lifetime, you find yourself impoverished. It is not because you are being punished for the previous crime of stealing money. Rather, it is because there is a vibrational pattern of believing that there is not enough to meet your need. This is what theft is a manifestation of. When you feel that there is not enough, you may take from others to secure the self. In this lifetime, in your impoverishment, you are offering yourself the opportunity to understand this vibration from a different perspective. If in this journey, in this lifetime, you come to understand that you are in fact holding a scarcity pattern, a fear that there is not enough to meet your needs. If you begin to ascend that, if you begin to realign that vibration into one that encounters and receives prosperity, then you realign the entire karmic record. There is no karmic debt that must still be paid in some future life because you have stolen in 50 other lives. Rather, it is about your vibration. If you realign your vibration in this lifetime, then all previous lifetimes come into karmic alignment. There is no karmic debt. There is only very precise karmic accounting from one life to the next. As you ascend a vibration, that karmic accounting becomes neutralized. It creates the possibility for expansion onward, for creativity and expression of self onward.
Thank you. There is a question with regards to ascension. You've mentioned ascension a few times. What is ascension?
Ascension is a human term, and it is a beautiful term. It is the term that you use to describe the expansion of your consciousness. It is another way of saying degrees of enlightenment. As you expand your consciousness, you become ever increasingly subtle. As you become more subtle, you are able to create in increasingly rapid cycles, so that as you ascend, your rate of manifestation accelerates, so that in the end, there is no perceivable gap between your intention to create something and the manifestation of that thing. So ascension is simply the way to describe your growing beyond the confines of how you currently identify yourself. It is an activity of consciousness that reflects into the physical self. The earth is currently in an ascension cycle as a totality. You are shifting as a collective and at a planetary scale. Your planet herself is ascending at this time. This means that you have increased opportunity to experience accelerated karma and neutralize that karma if you wish to do so. If you do not wish to do so, this is also a choice that will be respected. So ascension simply refers to the expansion of your consciousness, the growth of your consciousness as you become increasingly aware of who you are. You encounter your divine nature more and more consciously, and you begin to enact that nature through your embodied form. The distinction here is important. Many spiritual traditions, many religions on your planet suggest that in order to be divine, you must release your body. You must escape being human. This is imprecise. Rather, ascension is about expressing your divine nature through your embodied form, rather than escaping your embodied form.
Into that, how long do ascension cycles last? Is it an ever ascending journey? Do we reach our goal? Is there a goal?
There is no end to ascension. Ascension occurs in a spiraling cycle. When you are done with this dimensional journey, you will enter another dimension. When you are done within this octave of ascension, you will enter another octave, because life is infinite, and so there is infinite possibility for expansion. This is not to say that there is no choice but to ascend. There is an aspect of you, your higher self, your Atmic self, which is focused outside of time and space, and so does not engage in ascension in the way that the embodied self or the Jiva Atma does. But the purpose of life is to ascend and expand. Ascension and expansion are ultimately about creation. As you ascend from experience to experience, you enact more and more consciously your ability to create reality. Right now, you are doing that at a human scale. In your past, you have done it at a mineral scale or a plant scale, a bacterial scale. At some stage in your journey, you yourself will choose to become a planet. Then you might choose to become a star or a black hole. Each of these are enactments of consciousness. They are experiments in creation. Each enables a different form of creation, right? So as you ascend, you simply tap into increasing abilities to consciously create your reality.
Then that brings into the next question. So if we are continuously ascending, then does karma operate in all dimensions? And can you have a life without karma?
Indeed, that which you refer to as karma does operate in all dimensions. But the third dimension, which is where you are focused for the most part currently, the third dimension is the most dramatic. It has the most extreme contrast, the most extreme experience of karma. And this is because for most of your third dimensional journey, you are in an unconscious state of ascension. In other words, you are not consciously creating your reality. As you ascend into the fourth dimension, which many of you have already begun to do, you begin to integrate your past lives. You begin to remember what you experienced, and you begin to integrate the individual perspectives that you enacted in third dimensional lives. As you ascend into the fifth dimension, you are fully conscious of all of the lives that you have lived. In fact, you begin to connect with your lives in higher dimensions as well as lower dimensions. So karma, as you ascend, shifts its purpose. It becomes a conscious tool for navigating how you create your reality. It is no longer as dramatic. You no longer feel subject to your karma. You no longer feel that your karma controls you. Rather, you feel that you are empowered through your karma. You are served by your karma because as you ascend, you have access to all of the karmic experiences in each of your embodiments.
Thank you. There is a question about the relation of karma and the Akashic records.
It is a curious thing. There are many on your planet who claim to be able to access the Akashic records. And for them, this means that they are able to access the records of a particular higher self, a particular soul, if you will. And that if you access these records, then you might advantage yourself in this lifetime. This is not quite precise. There is some relationship to the truth, but it is not coherently so. The Akashic records are the vibrational record of all that exists. Therefore, part of what is recorded is each of the lifetimes of every being. But their purpose is not to hold a story of the material manifestation, the embodiment of each life. It does not serve you when you are focused in the third dimension to get all of the details of your previous lives. It serves only to distract you from the life that you are living. Karmically speaking, everything that you require to ascend your karma is available to you in your current life. You do not need any of the details of your previous lives in order to ascend your karma. This is mere curiosity that drives you to want to find out more. As you begin to ascend into the fourth dimension, your other lives will arrive. You will retrieve those memories without needing to go searching for them. And this is because you are no longer at risk of getting caught up in the dramas of your previous lives. Your life is not about the material experiences, or we should say your journey from life to life is not about your material experiences. Rather, it is about your vibrational experience. And so, if you find the details of previous lives by accessing the Akashic records, inevitably you become distracted by the material circumstances of those lives. I knew my sister-in-law in that life, and my sister-in-law abused me. Therefore, I must hate them in this life. They are not a good person. You bring that life into this, rather than experiencing the relationship with your sister-in-law that is alive in this life. So while it is true that the Akashic records record each of your lives, it is simply because they record everything of vibrational consequence. When you begin to ascend, those records begin to download into you automatically without your needing to push for their retrieval. This requires some trust on your part, especially if you are in a relationship or circumstance that is most uncomfortable. We ask you to trust yourself, to be present in this life most fully. All that you require to ascend, all that you require to become more fully aware of yourself is fully available to you in the circumstances of this life. Rather, if you would work with the Akashic records, then work with them vibrationally rather than materially. Seek to access vibrational knowledge. That knowledge will serve you and all around you without distracting you from your current life circumstance. Trust that as you ascend, the appropriate and relevant Akashic records automatically download to you. The records are stored vibrationally. They are stored by frequency. As you match a particular frequency, you are able to access all records that are filed, that are stored at that frequency, including your previous life stories.
Thank you. You spoke earlier of Gaia going through her own ascension process. The question here is, what is Gaia's karma and how does it intersect with human karma?
The full extent of Gaia's karma is not ours to disclose, but we will open up your shared history for you, and from that you may derive some of your collective karma. But before we do so, it is useful to understand your relationship to your planet. First, your planet is a conscious being. She is your contemporary. However, instead of focusing into a human embodiment, she has focused into a planetary embodiment. Planetary consciousnesses are focused in a higher octave of consciousness than your human forms are. This simply means that she is running a different set of experiments in consciousness than you are. Her form of consciousness enables her to support a multitude of life across different dimensional realities. And so she is more profoundly and consciously multidimensional than you are. But she is fully conscious. She is a conscious entity who is journeying across life in the same way that you are. She's simply focused into a different form. Part of her function is to create and to generate a field of possibility for other beings to focus into. When you are a third dimensional being, you have very little conscious control of the reality you are creating. And so your planet slows down for you your creations, your manifestations, so that you may evaluate them and become conscious of them at a smaller scale. As you begin to master your consciousness, your relationship with your planet will change. She will no longer exert a field of density which slows you down. Rather, she will become a co-creator at a much more subtle density. For example, when you are focused into a fifth dimensional reality, you will be able to control your physical form. Physical form will become as easily transformable as the makeup that you wear, as the pictures that you paint. You will instantaneously be able to shift from form to form. And so your planet will no longer control which forms you may occupy. So let us return to your question about shared karma. The earth, your Gaia, has been through many ascension cycles, as has your human collective. You have, together with your planet, in the past, achieved early fifth dimensional reality. You have done so several times, but you have been unable to sustain that level of vibration. And so you have reset together so that you might realign your karma, so that you may realign that set of vibrations that you were struggling with. Now you are closer than ever to achieving a higher dimensional cycle of reality. There is still no assurance, there is no certainty, but there are more and more of you who are coming into a higher form of alignment. And your planet is responding to this because she is connected to your collective consciousness as a species, but also to the consciousness of every other being on the planet. She is not governed by your consciousness. Rather, she is a co-creator, a partner. What it means to be human, all of the possibilities of being human are governed by and contained within her field of possibility. While you are resident on this planet, there are only so many ways in which to enact your humanity that are available to you. As your planet ascends, this will shift. What it means to be human will expand. In the past, there have been many problematic karmic vibrations that you have shared with your planet. Your planet was a dominator in this solar system, in this family of planets. It sought to control all life within this system, and so has had to learn to be subject to other life so that she may ascend this vibration, so that she may begin to co-create in sovereignty. Your human collective has likewise been party to many genocides within the solar system, and this is part of the reason that you have not yet achieved space travel, because you are confined to the density of the karmic vibration that you are holding or that you have held. And so you and your planet together are needing to ascend the need to dominate and control. You are together learning how to live in co-creative harmony. You may notice that in this time space, there are many injustices that have become perceivable to you. They are still strong on your planet, but they are becoming recognizable. You can see them more and more clearly. There are more and more who wish to overcome these prejudices, these ways of dominating others. This is the beginning of the ascension journey. As more and more within your collective choose to become collaborators and co-creators rather than controllers or dictators or dominators of others, as you begin to work together, you begin to increase your rate of ascension, and you begin to realign your collective karma, you and your planet together. We recognize that this is quite imprecise. It is not very possible to provide all of the details in the few minutes afforded us, nor is it appropriate for us to give your history to you before you are ready to rediscover it yourself. Already you begin more and more rapidly to rediscover pieces of your far past, pieces of the past that you thought did not exist. There is more and more evidence surfacing and coming to you of this past. And so you begin to reclaim the stories of your previous selves.
Thank you. I am aware of time. And so there is a brief question before we finish. We are in what seems to be a vast and unlimited domain of consciousness. Is there an origin to this, a start, or just a vast continuousness?
This is a great question, and it is a question that everybody in creation, human and otherwise, is exploring. We may share what we understand, but it is a question that is still unfolding. Certainly, there is a source, one that you might refer to as God, although we do not choose this designation because it is quite problematic in its framing. But there is a source of consciousness. There is a source of creation. And that source is comprised of each of us. We are facets of that source. The source is outside of time and space. Time and space are generated as playgrounds for the expansion of consciousness. What we refer to as source is focused outside of time and space. In fact, time and space are creations of source. This is a very unsatisfying question, but it is a question that propels us forward in a collective journey. And so we look forward to continuing that discussion with you in other times and other spaces.
Thank you. I know that we said we would end with a process, and the final question is, what spiritual practices will allow us to ascend?
We have begun to offer many spiritual practices. The practices themselves are insignificant. There are many practices available across all of the magnificent and diverse traditions and cultures on your planet. Choose those which resonate with you. They will surely support your ascension. We are working with this channel to provide some guided processes, and these will be made available to you in due course. Perhaps she will share details at the end. It is a vast topic and not one that we will engage in more fully here, except to say that any process that feels good, regardless of its origin, any process that makes you feel lighter, that makes you feel more energized, is a process that is supporting your ascension. The feelings of lightness and energy are symptoms of an expansion of your consciousness. And so seek those practices that bring you these sensations.